Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to everyone. This is Dr. Muhammad Safdar Bhatti, your English and our teacher. Today we will start our midterm syllabus, and that is based on the origin of sentence, parts of speech and the tenses. Okay? I cordially welcome you all over here. Dear all, what is the origin of sentence? Look at here. There comes first, these are the letters, and when they are combined, they make the alphabet, and when they are combined, they make the word, and when the words are combined, they make the phrase, and the phrases are combined, they make the clause, and then when clauses are combined, they make a sentence. Sentence is having two parts. One is the subject, and the second one is the predicate. There are three kinds of sentence on the behalf of structure. One is the simple, second one is the compound, and the third one is the complex. And on the behalf of and the basis of clause, there are five kinds of sentence. One is assertive, and the second one is the interrogative, imperative, exclamatory, and optative. In assertive, we have to just tell about what the work is going on. And interrogative, we have to put some question. And in imperative, we have to give some command or we have to forbid someone. And in exclamatory, we have to show our emotions. We are happy, alas, so and so. And in optative, we have to pray or curse. These are the parts of speech. For learning any language, you should know the parts of speech. And they are 9 in number. Now, these are the naming words. Pronouns are the replacing words. Verbs are the action words. Adverbs are the qualifying words. Prepositions are the relating words. Conjunctions are the joining words. Adjectives are the quality words. Articles are the demonstrative words, while the interjections are the emotional words. So, we have to start with that. What the tense is. Basically, in English grammar, tense means time and tells us about when an action takes place. The present tense tells us what is happening. The past tense tells us what has happened. And the future tense tells us what will happen. Present means today, past means yesterday, and future means tomorrow. It is having four kinds: indefinite, continuous, perfect, and the perfect continuous. So look at here, my dear, what the present tense is. Basically, it tells us about the routine, habits, or the facts. And its structure is subject plus first form of the verb and object. For example, I write a letter and he writes a letter. For the negative sentence, its structure is subject plus do not, does not, first form, and object. I do not write a letter and he does not write a letter. For interrogative, do, does, first subject, first form, and the object. Do I write a letter and does he write a letter? Now, my dear, you will have to remember these symbolic signs. They are very, very important to learn and to remember them by. First important point is always, if you find these symbolic words in any sentence, it definitely automatically will be in the present indefinite tense. The symbolic signs are always, daily, often, seldom, regularly, usually, generally, never, rarely, every day, every morning, every month, every year, and sometime. And that is the exercise which I have given you. And next one is the present continuous tense. It tells us how the action is happening now, and its structure is subject plus is MR plus fourth form and the verb. I'm writing a letter, he is writing a letter. For the interrogative, we have to put the not in the sentence. I'm not writing a letter, he is not writing a letter. And in interrogative, we have to put is MR at the beginning. Am I writing a letter? Is he writing a letter? And the symbolic words are at present, now, still, these days, at this moment, and nowadays. And that is the exercise. These exercises you can find in my book as well. What is the present perfect tense? It tells us about the action took place in the near past. Suppose its structure is subject plus has a plus third form plus object. I have written letter, and a negative subject plus has a plus not third form and object. I have not written letter and have I written letter. The symbolic signs are already, just, yet, recently, so far, this week, and never. Okay, what the present perfect tense is? It tells us about the action took place in the near past and structure is subject, has have third form and object. I have written letter, I have not written letter, and have I written letter. The symbolic signs are already, just, yet, recently, so far, this week, and never. Okay? And these are some exercises which you will have to do it yourself. And the next tense is present perfect continuous tense. It tells us about the action starting in the near past, still going on, can be continued in the future. The structure is subject has have been, fourth form, object, and since foreign time. I have been writing a letter since morning. I have not been writing a letter since morning. Have I been writing a letter since morning? And the symbolic signs are since, for, up to now, and all the day. Now we would like to move towards the past indefinite tense. It tells us about the action happened in the past once. Subject, structure is subject, second form of verb, object, like I wrote a letter. And for the negative sentence, you will have to use did not, first form and object. I did not write a letter. And for the interrogative, you will have to use did, first form, and then object. Did I write a letter? Symbolic signs, they are very important for that. These are some symbolic sentence words which you will have to learn a lot. The first one is the yesterday, ago, this morning, last or previous night, last or previous day, last or previous week, last or previous month, last or previous year, and in 2022. Okay. Now we would like to move towards the past continuous tense. It tells us about the action continued in the past at a certain moment. The structure is subject was were plus fourth form of a verb and object. I was writing a letter, I was not writing a letter, and was I writing a letter. Symbolic signs are when, while, and as long as. Past perfect tense. It tells about the action is completed before the other task. Structure is subject, had, third form, object. I had written letter, I had not written letter, had I written letter. And the symbolic signs are already, before, until, then, and after. Past perfect continuous tense, very important. Action started in the past but continued later on. Subject had been, third form, fourth form of verb, object, and since foreign time. I had been writing a letter since morning. I had not been writing a letter since morning. Had I been writing a letter since morning? The symbolic signs are since, for, all day. Now we would like to move towards the future tense. First one is the future indefinite tense. It tells us about the action will happen in future once and repeatedly. Structure is subject, will, shall, first form, and object. I shall write a letter, I shall not write a letter, and shall I write a letter? The symbolic signs are tomorrow, soon, next, and the following. Future continuous tense. It tells us about the action will continue in future at a fixed time. Subject will shall be plus fourth form plus object. I shall be writing letters. I shall not be writing a letter. Shall I be writing a letter? And symbolic signs are tomorrow, when, next, at this time. And it is its exercise, which is also available in your book as well. You will have to solve it yourself. Future perfect tense. It tells us about the action will complete in future before the other one. Subject plus will have, shall have, third form and object. I shall have written letter, I shall not have written letter, shall I have written letter. Symbolic signs are by, before, and until. Future perfect continuous tense. Action will continue in future at some point. Subject plus will shall have plus being plus fourth form plus object plus in for plus time. I shall have been writing letters since morning. I shall not have been writing letters since morning. Shall I have been writing a letter since morning? And symbolic signs are by, before, until, since, and for. Yes, dear. Look at the gist of the tenses. That is very important. You can also get the screenshot of that. Basically, I told you earlier that there are three tenses, present, past, and future. It is having four kinds, indefinite, continuous, perfect, and the perfect continuous. So 3 multiplied by 4, it is equal to 12. So in the present indefinite, you use the first form. And in the past indefinite, you use the second form. And in the future indefinite, you use will, shall, and the first form. While in the continuous, you use fourth form of the verb in all the continuous. In the perfect, in all the perfect continuous perfect tenses, you use the third form of the verb. While in the perfect continuous tenses, you use the fourth form of the verb. So that is very important for you. And thanks for joining me. And any question, please, you can raise your questions which is not clear to you. Thank you very much.